This episode of Time to Be Awesome is brought to you by MagicToday.net, the #1 online store for professional magic tricks and supplies. Visit www.magictoday.net and enter the coupon code AWESOME to save 10% on your entire order.
Hi everybody, I'm David Corsaro and it is time to be awesome. I'm here with Francis Menotti, easily one of the most creative and theatrical magicians that I know. Francis, thanks for coming up.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you are known, without a doubt, as bringing a lot of elements of theater and routining and creativity into your magic. In fact, your most recent lecture was the creativity lecture. A lot of people out there might know you from the effects that you've contributed to Magic Magazine or what you have on Joshua Jay's Talk About Tricks DVD. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of the effect because I can't. Can you just...
Exquisitely shuffled. That's alright. It's only me and my wife. We're the only two that can pronounce it.
Yeah, the ES trick, the shuffle trick. For those of you who haven't seen it, can you just talk a second about the premise of the trick if they haven't seen what it is?
Okay, essentially the premise of Exquisitely Shuffled is I take out a brand new pack of cards, they're all in order, I explain that my brain and the cards are connected symbiotically, I shuffle the cards and my words get mixed up throughout the routine, and the more I shuffle the cards, the more my words get mixed up, and it comes full circle. My words go back in order, and the cards go back in order. So
now that's not the standard, find it in any sort of magazine type trick, because it's
sure
not just about yeah, sure it is. It's not just about the principles, but it's about the theater that you brought to it. Talk about how important it is to do a performance versus just doing a trick.
Okay. Well, this is personal philosophy, but for me, essentially, my thinking on magic is that all magic ultimately happens up in the minds of the audience.
Okay.
Okay. So. For me, I can honestly say I think kind of the secret, the trick behind the magic is, in a sense, this is going to sound strange, in a sense, the least important part of the magical moment.
Okay.
And here's what I mean by that, because everyone's going to say, "Oh my God, no! How can you say that? No, the secret's important. The secret is important. It goes without saying that the secret that we have to fool the audience. The trick is supposed to be amazing to the audience. Okay." So that's the ground, that's the base of what we're doing. So it goes without saying we're going to do that. The trick has to be strong enough to amaze the audience.
Right.
Let's get past that. All right?
Once you establish that,
that is not inherently interesting to people. In my opinion, I don't believe that being fooled by something is inherently interesting to everyone.
Okay.
Some people find puzzles interesting, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
My thinking is it's not really magic. It's a difference, as Vernon said, the difference between magic and a puzzle. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do is take it a step beyond that and say, okay, we're gonna make a coin disappear. Is the coin disappearing, or is something else happening? I want to leave them with something other than just how did he do that. I'd rather the audience see my magic and not necessarily think how did he do that right away. I want them to eventually think how did that happen, but I want them to come away with a story, a much stronger reaction, a much stronger moment. That, in my opinion, is magic. And then later on they can say, wait a second, by the way, how did he make that coin disappear?
Right.
So, for example, when I'm shuffling the cards and my words are getting mixed up, people don't believe that magically my words are becoming mixed up.
Right.
And yet, I still put forth that is a magical moment for them. Mm-hmm. And then later on they realize, oh, the cards did go back in order. How the hell did that happen? But it's so far past that point, it's too late for them to retrace the steps and figure out how the trick worked. The magic happens, and then they realize it was a trick.
And what's nice about it, too, and I've seen you do it before, it's fantastic, is that you're not necessarily calling out that moment to the audience. It's not, watch, now I'm going to screw up my pattern when I talk about that. You say it, and I watch the audience kind of go, what is he... I'm picking up on the key words that tell the audience, this is what you just heard, but now because the cards are being shuffled, your words are being shuffled.
Right, I'm not. It's the difference between showing and not telling, kind of thing. The acting, show, don't tell. I want to fully engage myself in the magic that's happening. So, for me, my performance style and everything that I do, whether I'm performing for adults or for kids. Yes, I do perform for kids. People look at me strange when they say that, but usually with knives and blood and stuff. But anyway. But I always believe that the magic should be happening to me as well as to them. I don't believe in showing off. I think a lot of magic is just that. It's look what I can do, I'm going to do something and I'm going to fool you. Ta-da. It's me against them. There's this competition. I don't want to do that. I want to make it as clear that it's not a competition but a partnership, and we're all enjoying this together.
So almost as if you're not doing the magic is happening.
Sometimes I'm doing the magic and I'm just as excited about it as they are. So.
Now talk about the show that you did. How to Write a Magic Show?
The most recent endeavor was a show that a friend of mine, Randy Shine, another Philadelphia magician, he and I wrote a show called How to Write a Magic Show in 1 week or less. And it was not an exposure show, as the name might imply. It was actually a show that. It's a funny story. A year ago, we had a theater rented, but we didn't have a show in it. A friend of mine, another friend and I were going to do the show, and then he had to go travel somewhere for business. So I had a week before the theater was going to be rented, and we didn't have a show, and we were just going to use it for rehearsal space. So instead, I called Randy and I said, "What if we try an experiment, a thought experiment? We'll write a show, create a premise, put the tricks together." Put out some emails, put some posters together, and do the show in 1 week. And we did, and it worked out well, surprisingly well. And the whole premise was we're sitting in a living room talking about what makes a magic show, talking about what tricks we should do, what's a good closer, a good opener, and we'd be performing for this invisible audience. So the fourth wall we'd be kind of breaking and coming back to. So.
And why did you call it How to Write a Magic Show?
Because that's...
Okay. So, now that's not, I mean, again, that's not your standard type stuff. I mean, you've taken that to the next level, and that's, obviously creativity is important to you. You do not want to do, I've seen you do not want to do the standard stuff, or if you do, that standard stuff cannot be performed standardly.
It's not so much a question of what I want to do or don't want to do. It's it's the realization of self. This is who I am.
Who you
this
are.
Is what I want. It's not what I want to do. It's what I have to do. This is, the way I approach magic is, not going to work for someone else, and that's great. And no two people should be doing magic the same way. Despite the fact that we see this all the time on DVDs and people are watching YouTube, and now everyone looks the same. We've got the whole clone wars of magic going on. But no, my thinking is I want to present something that the audience can honestly say whether they like it or not, and I'm fine if a lot of my audience doesn't like it, because I want to be selective about. I don't believe in the concept that as an entertainer we have to entertain everyone. Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I would rather be great. I would rather 100 people think that I'm fantastic than 1,000 people think I'm good.
Well, I mean, that's in all fields, and it's great that you can apply that to magic, because not everybody loved Richard Pryor, but those that did loved him, and he's considered one of the best stand-ups ever, and the same thing. So if you want to be the best magician to the people that love you.
And absolutely, there's another side to that too. As Richard Pryor, whether you like him or liked him or didn't like him, you would have to, even the people who didn't like him would have to realize and respect what he was doing. And my goal is not to be everyone's favorite magician. My goal is to put something out there that is the best that I can offer. I don't believe in competition against other people. I believe in competition against myself. And so I want to put out the best that I can possibly do, so that later on people can say, well, I didn't like it, but other people like it, and regardless, that was solid, that was good. So
it's really great too, because nowadays with so many DVDs and so many videos out there, you always hear things like, well, here's my routine, here's my performance, make it your own, and that's not easy to do.
No, the concept of, the phrase is usually know who you are. You have to know who you are, or be yourself. That's the phrase I'm thinking of, which is an absurd statement to make because, well, it's not absurd. It's correct. You have to be yourself. The problem is
hard.
That's the hardest thing.
That's
for
the hardest
most people.
part.
What I love now is that people will watch the stuff that I'm doing, whether it's on stage or whether it's a theatrical performance somewhere, and people will say, "Oh, that's interesting, but I don't see that working for a lay audience." Magicians will say, "I don't see that working for a lay audience," or "I can't believe that you would, that people are going to like that." What's funny is, first of all, that I do.
You do for lay audiences,
and usually a lay audience like the magic that I'm doing better than magicians, that's fine. That's who I'm working for. The other side of it is, people will look at the theatrical stuff, like if I'm dying with a knife in my back on stage, which I do. they'll say, well, how can you make how can you make a living doing this? And the fact is, well, because that's not all I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I'll do that, but then if I'm going to get up in front of a family audience or you know, a corporate show or something like that, I can get up there and have a good time with everyone and just do the standard kind of magic that they want.
Still, though, personalizing
Still
it to
personalizing
you.
it, still personalizing it, but there's a difference between, for me, there's the art side of it, which is what I'm doing, what I want to do, and then there's the business side of it, and I'll do what's going to pay the bills. And for me, this has been my full-time profession for 8 years so far, and don't see that going any differently. So,
Okay,
it's,
so that's
yeah,
good.
so, yeah.
And it's what's nice is, with so much material out there, your lecture notes, because the last lecture I saw you do was the creativity lecture, which really helps to focus those that are interested in magic on, here's how to find out who you are, and here's how to sort of break some of that clutter up in your mind to become a more creative and think outside of the box magician.
And actually, not just to how to, but also to realize that that everyone has the potential to be creative. A lot of people think, oh, it's something you're born with, or something you know, it's going to be really, really hard. Well, yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, it's not. What's amazing to me is we'll look at people who are doing some ingenious pieces of magic. And, you know, look at any of the top people in our field or any field, and say, wow, that's amazing. I could never do that. Yes, you could. They didn't get there overnight either. You know, it's a matter of, you know, if you want to look at it and say, boy, I don't want to put the work into that, that's one thing.
Right.
You know, yeah, they work their asses off to get there, and I respect that, and I think, you know, that's the key. That's the difference between, you know, there's a difference between wanting to be creative and believing that you can't. And if you don't want to, that's fine. It's just, I think it's worth it to everyone to at least give it a shot, to try putting your own bent on something, putting your own, you know, take a piece of magic, a standard piece of magic, and figure out, how can I make this personally mine? How can I make this a little different than just watch what is about to happen? You know, whether people like my show or don't, whether it's a magician group or not, the one thing I guarantee, when they walk out of the theater after seeing my show, whether they like it or don't, they are not going to forget it.
Yeah.
That's my focus. And you're in marketing and in advertising and things.
Yep.
My degree was in advertising, PR. And there's one of the quotes, one of the phrases in the business is there's no greater sin in advertising than to be forgettable.
Forgot.
So.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. And as long as, you know what, it's like I said before, people might love Richard Pryor, people might not hate Richard Pryor, but they know who Richard Pryor was. And you have to establish the fact that, you know what, you might not appease everybody. But if you're
going to be
true
good,
to yourself,
you're not going to appease everyone.
Yeah,
If you're living up to your potential, you're not going to be loved by everyone.
that's true.
I would hate to be loved by everyone. That would suck.
Me too.
Well, you're fine.
Yeah, well, I had nothing to worry about. But anyway, listen, I appreciate you coming on, Francis. We have to cut this a little short because something's going to happen in a minute. But if anybody out there, if Francis is coming into your area, if he's lecturing or coming into a convention, you have to check him out. If you want to get the his lecture notes, or I think francismenotti.com.
It's francismenotti.com.
You can get his creativity. All right.
Yeah, well,
1 second. We want to watch this. Hold on.
Hi. Have you ever seen one of these? You probably can't. It's hard to see when it's upside down. That's essentially a one-sided coin. It's a coin with only a tail that doesn't have a head. So what that means is, of course, you can see this side. It has the tail here. You turn it over, you can't see the other side. It only has a head. Or a tail, rather. I'll leave this one here. We'll use only the head, actually. This one has a head. This one has a tail. If you line the two of them up, you can make it look almost like one real coin. Like that. It still looks like two, doesn't it? I'll tell you what, it's actually two halves of one coin. The whole idea is take the head next to the tail, sort of squeeze them together. It can almost look like one real coin. So that's one. Let's go with the second one here. That's two. And for the purposes of our demonstration, let's use a third. 3 coins. All I need you to do is use your imagination. Obviously, I can't do, well, any of this. But I'm going to use your imagination and imagine what it would look like for one of these coins to disappear. Just imagine one coin simply melting away out of my head. It looks good to me, but I've been doing it for so long, so hopefully it looks all right to you. Imagine the same idea with the second coin. Just sort of melting away out of the hand. That leaves me with one. Now, actually, in my imagination, I imagined how it worked. It didn't go up my sleeve, it went behind my sleeve, sort of. In fact, let's try this one more time with one last coin. One more time, imagine what it would look like for this coin to just melt away off the fingertips into thin air, leaving me with nothing but a very good imagination.
That was good.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's all right.
Good.
Okay.
It's, I mean, you know, if you like that.
If you like that stuff.
That's
It's not-
yeah. Anyway.
That's my...
Do you want to?
No, forget it. Anyway, Francis, thank you very much for coming up to help
been a
me out
pleasure.
today. I really
Thanks
do
for having
appreciate it. If you guys want to learn any more about creativity or talk about some of the theatrics of magic, you can check out Francis's website at francismenotti.com, or you could shoot us an email at magic@timetobeawesome.com. I appreciate you coming on. My name's David Corsaro. This is Francis Menotti. Now, go be awesome. Well, folks, thanks for watching this episode of Time to Be Awesome. This episode was actually sponsored by MagicToday.net. It is one of the coolest online magic stores out there. Go check out MagicToday.net for a bunch of cool magic tricks and supplies. And if you enter the coupon code AWESOME, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So that's MagicToday.net and enter the coupon code AWESOME. Coming up in future episodes, we've got interviews with Alan Zing regarding the melting of magic and mentalism together. Very cool episode. We've got a roundtable discussion about some typical problems in kids show magic. And we've got the much anticipated behind the scenes look at Monday Night Magic. Thanks for watching, everybody. My name's been David Corsaro. Go be awesome.